For those of you who've been following my Facebook posts over the past week or so and watching some of my videos over the past few days, we've been looking at this topic of mental slavery and whether it's a choice or not. And I've got some interesting feedback in the comments on this point. There's people who say, yes, you have a choice. When I ask is mental slavery a choice? You have people saying it is a choice. You have some people saying it's not a choice. Actually, I don't know if I had anyone saying that. I had one interesting comment that I wanted to address, though, which was the point of, and I won't say the person's name because it's not personal, but they made a point of saying that, only certain people have choice, and that there's a danger in being one-sided and only looking at those who have choice. And I wanted to address that point because it led into a conversation about why I would focus on those who have choice instead of those who don't have choice if you're wanting to make a difference in changing the world into a form that's best for everybody. So the question is, why would you focus on those who do have choice? And the comment was something to the effect of, if your vibration was correct, you would focus on those who don't have choice. First of all, it has nothing to do with vibration. And okay, I'll make it short and then we can chat. For those who have choice, what does it really mean to have choice? There's really varying degrees, like relative levels of choice in our world. No one really has total freedom. No one really has total freedom of will or choice, because we live in a world where to exist, you have to have money. And even if you have, let's say, an abundance of money, or you don't have to think about it, the fact is everyone else in the world does. And so your world is going to be limited because you have a lot of people who are basically totally stressed out in survival mode, and you spend a lot of your time finding ways to either control those people through physical or psychological means, or basically trying to suppress people and protect your own wealth and position. So no one's really free in our current system. But the degree of freedom, whether you experience extreme stress due to having to fight for your daily survival versus just maintaining a position, there is a difference between living with wealth versus living without money in this world. Anyone who is suggesting that, everyone has the same exact problems, there's a little bit of dishonesty there, because there is a difference. That being said, yes, no one has choice. No one has total freedom of choice, for the reason I just explained. So then the question is, okay, why is it important if we want to make a difference in the world? We know that we have a system that, for the majority of people, there has to be a constant focus of time and energy on just basically making enough money to survive. And there's very few people in this world, but they do exist, where they don't really have to focus on that primarily. And then that's due to the way the system is structured. So why would we focus on people who are in a relative position of choice rather than those who aren't? Because it's for the simple matter of, the only way to support all of those who really effectively have zero choice in this world due to their financial position, their environment, where they're born, their genetics, etc. The only way to really support all of them is a change in the system. Only a system can do that. You as an individual can't support millions of people. You can't even support millions of people to change, much less to get their basic necessities and what they need to live. Only a system can do that. So to say that, your vibration is in the wrong place because one's not focusing on helping the 99%, let's say, change, but yet at the same time admitting that the 99% do not really have any real choice in this world is self-dishonest, is intellectually dishonest as well. It doesn't make logical sense. The only thing that's going to change things for the vast majority of people is a system. A change in the system. A system that's best. We just don't have a system that's best. I mean, look at it. Only a system can reach into everyone's lives. So it's just the starting point of the system that needs to be changed. But how is that going to change if the people who, in general, stand in the positions that where changes could be made to the system that would then affect everyone, those people generally are not willing to change the system because it protects their position, their unique position of comfort and wealth or power or whatever it is. Now, you're probably not going to be able to change those people. So what do? It sounds like a catch-22. Well, of course, you start with yourself. Because if you have the tools to change yourself, and you can take responsibility, and you can change yourself at a DNA level, and you can let go of limiting beliefs and pre-programming that is preventing you from standing up, then, and also preventing you from even being able to live effectively in a system that's best for all, due to self-hatred and spite and all number of things. If you know how to let go of those things, and you know how to change those things within yourself, then you have to do that. Well, then you also have to show other people that it can be done and how to do it. But you have to understand that the average, well, I don't want to say average person, because average can seem context dependent. Like, you could think of the average person if you live in like the US or Canada as like you, but that's not the average person in this world. The average person in this world is living in poverty. So, and to a large degree, although maybe not extreme poverty, definitely in a sense mental poverty, in a sense where they believe in lack, they believe that things in this world must be the way they are. That would probably be the overarching dominant belief pattern, is that the system is God, and that, or there is an external God that controls everything, and therefore there's nothing we can do as individuals. So what that means is, if you try to go and change the average person in this world, who we acknowledge doesn't really have real choice due to their position, they're not going to be willing to change. They're not going to be able to change. They're spending most of their time trying to survive. So they're not going to have time to study and watch videos like this and discuss and make comments on Facebook and things like that. They're just not going to have the time to do it. They're not going to have the intellectual or the emotional space to be able to even think about things like this. And it's not because they're inferior. It's simply a matter of pre-programming. Pre-programming in terms of their vocabulary, their environment, their genetics, etc. But at the end of the day, we're all fundamentally equal. So if I can understand these things, then anyone can. But that doesn't mean that anyone can do it right now, because I'm in a position where I have the space to be, and the time to be able to consider these things. So what is most, I was going to say disheartening, although it's not really disheartening, because it doesn't bother me, because it's just a matter of numbers. But it can seem disheartening that those who are in positions like myself, who have this time and freedom to look at these points, would then still make these errors and think that, oh, I have to go save everybody else. I have to go save the poor people. And it's like, only a system can do that. So you have to let go of your savior complex. You have to realize you can only save yourself, and then you can support others who are wanting to save themselves, or who are in a position where they're even considering it. I mean, think about it. If the average person thinks that there is such a thing as a savior, or they believe everything is just random and it's all just, it's just random, like evolution. There's nothing. There's no personal choice within the whole point. If you're trying to talk to people like that, you're trying to tell them to save themselves, they're not going to process it, because they're not going to think that they have the ability to forgive themselves, because they've given that power away to something external. I just had a comment this morning on one of my previous videos where the person said something to the effect of, everything you're saying made sense until you started saying that we are all collectively God, because God exists externally from us. It's a being apart from everything else. It's like, how can you have something that's apart from every other thing? It doesn't even make logical sense. But if you believe something like that at a very subtle, fundamental level, it means you're not going to take full responsibility, and you're not going to expect others to take full responsibility. And so you will limit yourself, and you'll allow weakness in yourself, and you'll allow weakness in others, and the system won't change. Because you won't stand up and do what is required. You will make excuses. This is what we're all susceptible to. So we have to remove that limiting belief that, one, changing the world by getting everyone to take self-responsibility is idealistic. It's not. It's only idealistic if you look at it incorrectly, if you make errors in your processing. Because if you think you have to go and save everybody right now, well, obviously it doesn't make any sense. Just like the education system, the health system, healthcare system, whatever you want to call it, all those systems need to be changed, and when those things change, it'll be better for the average person. But who is going to make those changes? That's what you have to look at right now. Who is going to make those changes to the system? Because if you're watching this video, then it should be you. It should not just you only, but all of us who are in positions to be able to process these types of things, to consider these things. But you are now in a position where you're aware of the problem, you're aware that you can take responsibility for it, and yet you're still a slave to your own beliefs. So how do you do that? You have to know how to delete them. You have to know how to restructure your total ability to process information, so you're not susceptible to suggestion in the same way as you were before, because it was through suggestion that these false or erroneous or ineffective or unacceptable beliefs were placed into you and accepted by you in the first place. If you could process information effectively, you wouldn't accept things that are basically stupid. Like, there's a God that exists apart from me. That's a stupid belief. It doesn't make any sense. There's no evidence of it. If there was evidence of it, if you believe that, and then you believe, therefore, things are going to work out, it's like, where's the evidence of that? Look at the world. Why are we even having this conversation? And if you believe that, then just fuck off. Why are you even watching my videos? Like, what's the point? Why even comment? Are you going to do something about it or not? If not, go away. Like, I'm not talking to you. This is my whole point. I'm only talking to those who want to be the new 1%. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for everybody, because most people are not, at this stage, are not going to understand what I'm talking about. So if you are one of those people, it's important that you really consider what I'm saying. And if you're having trouble, but you're like, well, I want to go there, it's just there's difficulty in letting go of these beliefs, well, then you really need to contact me, because we can show you how to actually change, because that's what we're doing for ourselves. It's a process, but what's the alternative? And what do you have to lose, really? What do you have to lose to at least attempt to become more effective and to change and to support others to change and to make the world best for all? What do you have to lose? Because you don't know what happens when you die. And for all you know, you could just have to sit there and live in regret while you watch everybody else trying to change a situation that you did nothing to fix. That could very well be what happens. Or maybe you get to the end and everyone, kind of like says, well, what did you do? You're like, well, I didn't do anything. So they're like, well, okay, delete, bye, you don't exist anymore. I don't know. But why not? Why does it matter what happens? What should only matter is, given the context of where you find yourself, it's like, who are you? What would you do given the situation that you find yourself in? Would you do what's best or not? That's really the only point. And that's why I made that post a few days ago saying the only choice is between what is best and what is not best. It's not actually a choice. It just seems like a choice. And that's the problem, is that we think we have a choice. We should not allow ourselves to have a choice when it comes to what is best. It should be automatic. And if it were, the world would be totally different. It's because we think that we have a choice, and we think that free choice means doing whatever you just want to do, not realizing that what you're doing is a result of the way you're programmed. And if you were to change that, then the outcome would change. So you don't have a choice. The only choice you have is whether or not you're going to support yourself through the tools that you've been exposed to change yourself, so that you are able to act in ways that are best at all times. That will be a process, but it's like, again, what do you have to lose? You have everything to lose, because if you don't change, then you're fucked, and we're all fucked. We all have to do it, and that's why I said, too, it's all of us or none of us. It's not just, those who figure it out, screw everybody else. No, it's not how this works. All right, I have another chat now, so leave a comment, share this video, give it a like. See you later.